Looking up to the kissing bough hanging right above her head, her heartbeat resounded in her ears so loudly she was sure others could hear it too. Never had she thought she'd ever be standing under a kissing bough, and the idea excited her. The bough was a ball, interwoven with twigs and fir tree greenery, decorated with an apple, candles, and berries. The abundance of holly decorating it would surely bring good luck. Then she saw the ivy above her head, and a knot formed in her stomach. Everyone knew ivy was supposed to be kept outdoors, and not brought across the threshold, because that meant death. Then again, perhaps that was naught more than a silly superstition. Dangling precariously from the bottom of the kissing bough was a fresh sprig of green mistletoe, with several small white berries. This was something she'd never seen at the Abbey. The church didn't allow mistletoe within its holy walls, since it was associated with pagan customs and druids. Once again, Annalise felt as if she were doing something naughty by standing here. Not just because of the traditions, but because her sister needed her, and she was purposely stalling. Gabrielle, being the firstborn twin, had experienced kisses under the mistletoe many times in her life, and Annalise decided now it was her turn. She couldn't pass up this opportunity. Even though Gabrielle was heavy with child and her message sounded urgent, she would have to wait just a little longer.
"Och, milady, I did not even see you standing there."
Annalise's eyes dropped from the kissing bough to see a Scot with a tankard in his hand, heading in her direction. His broad chest was large and foreboding, while his hair boasted the colour of the fiery hot flames of hell. Not that she'd know what the flames of hell looked like, since she'd been raised by nuns and attended church several times a day. If the nuns hadn't been superstitious, they would have accepted her into the order. But they didn't want the Almighty scowling down at them for bringing a cursed second-born twin into their order, and so she remained an outcast, even in the eyes of God. The Scot's craggy brows lifted, and she saw a playful twinkle in his dangerous green eyes. Scots were to be feared, and this one looked to be an abundance of trouble. He smiled at her. That told her he didn't know who she was, or he'd be keeping his distance. With a saffron layan half open, she could see the hairs on his chest peeking out from between the leather laces of his tunic. A dark green plaid wrapped around his waist and was thrown over one shoulder and pinned with a metal badge. She didn't dare even to breathe. Never had she ever been so close to one of these savages before, and wondered if she were in danger. After all, the Scots were enemies of the English. What could this man possibly be doing in her father's castle? Her gaze shot around the room as she desperately scanned the area, looking for her sister. Gabrielle was nowhere to be seen. Only ladies and knights standing under more kissing boughs. The women giggled, and the men pulled them into their arms and kissed them in front of everyone. This wasn't what she expected to find at all, and it would do naught to help her out of this awkward position.
"I suppose you're waiting for a kiss as well, milady? Well, I will not disappoint ye."
Before she had a chance to object, the Scotsman pulled her up against his chest with one hand, while he cradled his drink in the other. I think you—" She never had a chance to finish her sentence, because his mouth covered hers with a big, wet kiss. It took her by surprise, and she hadn't even a moment to prepare for her first, and possibly only, kiss. It all happened so quickly that it took her breath away. She'd just been kissed by a total stranger, and surprisingly, she found that she liked it. It was exciting and intimate, and she could taste the burn of the whiskey he'd been drinking as she ran her tongue over her lips. "You didn't even give me the time to object," she told him, wanting to sound like a respectable lady, even if she had recently been hoping for this to happen.
"Welcome, milady," said the Scot, taking her by the arm and escorting her into the great hall. "I'm sure you've heard that to reject a kiss under the kissing bough will mean you will not marry this year, so it is a good thing you didn't object."
"I'm sure I won't marry this year or any year, so what does it matter?" She looked away and brushed invisible lint from her sleeve as they headed across the vast room.
"Do not be so sure. Now that you've had a kiss under the kissing bough, things will change."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.